to help the Afghanistani people learn how to mine.
Well, and part of what a lot of folks don't understand about lithium is there's only one spot in the United States that it's mined, and it's virtually, I mean, it is a huge pain just to get, several ounces of lithium out of these old salt deposit, that are billions of years old. I can't even talk to them.
And we got billions of Chinese people all carrying cell phones that need those lithium batteries, and millions here carrying them.
Well, and also your president wants us all to drive lithium-powered cars.
Yep.
So, and that's why he's all jacked up about Afghanistan. He wants us to. He doesn't care about Iraq. He thinks that was Bush's. By the way, did you see what Bush's brother told President 44?
No.
He said, you've been here for 18 months. Get off my brother's back. It wasn't all his fault. You've got to accept a little bit of responsibility, and that's what Jeb told President 44. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of fun to be back on the air, John. It takes my mind off all the other crap that I've got to be doing.
And remember, we are live today, 1-800-313-9443. Any comments, any questions? We are live today. I know that's a strange thing for you guys, because we have been playing a lot of recorded shows here lately due to what we've got to do here.
And thanks a bunch, that both of y'all that are listening right now. Thank y'all for sticking with us, because it's you got to understand. And once we get after the first of the month, we should have the wheels back on the wagon and should be doing it.
Hey, maybe McChrystal will be available to do a show. We can call it the military hour or something.
Well, I know that wouldn't that be great? Oh my God! Yeah, he'd want money.
Yeah,
so we don't have any money anymore. So, sounds like we have got a break coming up. You are listening to Control Factor with Don and John. We will be back in just a moment.
Welcome back to the Control Factor. I'm John Hall.
I'm Don Hall.
And we are coming at you live today for a change, 1-800-313-9443. Just got through telling people about the Israelis launching a new satellite surveillance system called Off-Tech 9. They're being pretty tight-lipped about its capabilities. It has already made a couple of full circles around the planet now. They have already tested it. Everything's working. So that's what we need, another
spy satellite?
Another spy satellite in the air. That's what we need.
They're going to start running over each other up there, man. Well, please share it with me, and we really haven't talked about it because it was something that I was avoiding, but the text I got from you last night, it was very disturbing.
Yep.
And this is, and again, as you folks know that listen to us, or used to listen to us, John and I do not share conspiracy theory. This is not what John is about to share with us is not a conspiracy theorist. This comes from a very well-placed source that has shared this with us. So
well, this is I guess we could call it a Control Factor exclusive.
Yep.
You're not going to be hearing this on the mainstream media, at least not probably for another 24 hours or so.
You will hear about it, though.
According to a very good source of mine in the Middle East, Israeli troops and U.S. troops have formed a coalition and are massing troops in Azerbaijan as we speak, supposedly in an attempt to possibly fly into Iran to make strikes against some of their nuclear sites. The Iranians have also massed their troops on their northern border, which borders with Azerbaijan. This started yesterday. From what I understand, nobody's flown into Iran yet. Nothing's going on, but the Revolutionary Guard of the Iranian army and a lot of their heavy equipment has been moved to the northern border of Iran, where it borders Azerbaijan, in expectation of a coalition of Israeli and U.S. troops to fly over in an attempt to bomb some of their nuclear sites. Now, I heard that from a very good source. Haven't seen anything about it on the mainstream media yet. I guess it's all still pretty hush-hush, but some news worth knowing, especially if that does start, knowing that we have 10 Afghan soldiers running amok here in the United States that went AWOL from Lackland Air Force Base. That's a little disconcerting because one would have to assume when and if we do start letting bombs fly in Iran, that some of the radical Muslims that are here may seize that opportunity as a time to strike at the great Satan here in the United States.
Well, and also that could have something to do with, none of this is with McChrystal and Petraeus and the very poor decision making that our president and his staff are involved in right now, John. None of this is accidental. This is all happening for a reason, and it's happening for a purpose. And that might, in my thought process, that might be part of the reason why McChrystal did what he did, is because he knew that we were fixing to get into a crap storm that it's unwinnable, man. And also, the thinner that you spread your lines, any military tactician will tell you, the thinner that you spread your lines, if we've got people, kids fighting in Iraq, and then we've got kids fighting in Afghanistan, and then we've got people amassed on the border of Afghanistan and in Pakistan, and now we're going after the Iraqis. We are spread so thin. Iranians. We are spread so thin that it's that old divide and conquer.
Not to mention, we still have people in South America, and we still have people in Bosnia.
Exactly. So, we're spread so and Korea. And the Koreans that idiot in Korea is still acting like a fool. There's what was it you were telling me about the gas?
They've found satellite sensors have picked up a bunch of xenon gas on the border between South and North Korea, which is evidence in itself that they're possibly still testing some underground nuclear explosions there. But that is the breaking news. Allegedly, there are Israeli and U.S. troops massing in Azerbaijan, and the Iranians have massed all their heavy equipment and troops on their northern border with Azerbaijan in expectation of an attack. We'll see if any of that comes to light. The big fear there, of course, is that once we enter Iranian airspace, is that going to set off a hotbed reaction throughout the rest of the Islamic world, which I would assume it would. And as you know, if anybody's read the news, the Air Force was kind of hush-hush on the fact that we've got had 17 Afghan soldiers that were brought to Lackland Air Force Base to learn English at the Language Center here at Lackland Air Force Base. 7 of them, their whereabouts are known. 10 of them are still considered AWOL. The Air Force has kind of downplayed this, saying that they're not really too worried about it, and that these were some of Karzai's troops that are actually coalition troops. But as I said before, the Afghan army and the Afghan people, they're going to side with whoever's giving them security and whoever is the strong arm. They are Islamic, so when we start bombing another Islamic country, I would assume their reaction is going to be to do what's right according to the Quran, which is going to be against us.
Scary stuff. It's scary stuff, and that's one of the reasons why it was kind of imperative that we did a show today, because we do. In John's source is a very, very reliable source. This is not, again, it's not a conspiracy theory. This is not something that we pulled off the internet. This is from the horse's mouth. And again, we're very fortunate that we even have those sources.
Well, it seems like they don't see an avenue that they can really stop things. I think they don't realize their own power in numbers, and that's the key point. Once we realize our power in numbers, the system has to listen to us. Because as a trucker, I remember how they had the scaring the town about a rolling roadblock. A rolling roadblock could cure the whole problem if people just did it on a consistent basis. The whole system would go absolutely berserk, and we'd have to compromise and say, okay, all right, we'll listen. But we don't do it. We don't enact the things that we can do.
I agree. There has to be some organization. We have to find a leader that is capable of organizing rational, intelligent individuals.
Well, it's not just finding a leader; it's finding the leaders in us that we can say, okay, getting a bunch of leaders. We need bunches of leaders, not just a leader. A leader is what gets us in trouble.
Well, I guess it's true. That makes sense.